Ahoy, this is Zdenka. How to use Hohem iSteady V3 Ultra. This is in-depth guide covering everything from balancing, gimbal modes, filming modes, to how to use Hohem Joy app. Timestamps are enabled so you can find the sections you're looking for more easily. This video is brought to you by Hohem. If you already went ahead and charged the gimbal, that's great. If you're not there yet and you need some info, here is a charging port where you can place a standard USB Type-C charging cable that is included in the package. Charging time from empty to full is roughly 2.5 hours. For faster charging, it's recommended to use a USB charger. This one is not included in the package. The display will tell you how much battery has been charged on the gimbal and detachable remote. As you're charging the gimbal, make sure you download Hohem Joy app, as you will need to activate the gimbal through the app. Let's unfold the gimbal. Simply pull the arm up. On the contrary, when you're done filming, make sure you turn the AI sensor pointing up, and then you just pull it down to fold it. It should click so it's not moving around. Let's unfold it again. Pull out the little legs at the bottom. By the way, there is a 1/4-inch screw hole at the bottom in case you want to mount it, for example, to a tripod. Also, it's very important to remember to never turn on the gimbal if you don't have the phone in, as it could damage the motors. Position the tilt motor to the right side and the sensor on the left. Once you insert the phone, it should be centered. If you don't balance it properly, the gimbal will drain faster. Let's press and hold the power button for 3 seconds to turn on the gimbal. You will turn it off the same way. Before you fold the gimbal to put it away, always make sure to turn it off first. Once the gimbal is on, it will be in vertical mode by default. If you want to film in horizontal mode, you can switch the position by hitting the orientation icon on the screen. If you prefer to have the gimbal always in horizontal position by default, I'll show you later in the video how to enable that in the menu on the remote. Once the gimbal is on, always hold the gimbal here. Never grab it by the arm. If you forget and grab it accidentally by the arm, the gimbal has motor protection. It will shut off automatically. Now it's time to go to Hohem Joy app and follow all instructions to activate the gimbal. There are 3 usage modes with Hohem iSteady V3 Ultra. Handheld mode, which is default unfolded mode. Extended mode is next. Simply pull out the selfie stick and slightly bend the elbow so it's in the most natural angle you are filming at. The last one is remote mode. Simply place it on a table and pull out the remote so you can operate the gimbal. How do you use the AI sensor? First of all, if you press these 2 legs, you can detach it and turn it the other way for filming with rear cameras. If you are not going to be using AI tracker, you can turn it off. The power button is right here. When you turn on the AI tracker, the fill light will flash 2 times to show that it has been successfully connected. The AI tracking sensor is controlled 2 ways. By gestures that work only for a person, or with this remote to track any subject. Let's cover the gestures first. For the gestures to work, you cannot be too close or too far. The distance should be between 0.5 to 1.5 meters. The first gesture is the OK sign. This will enable tracking. The light will turn green and the AI tracker is now tracking. To stop tracking, show your palm. When it's off, the light will be red. If you want to change the composition, you don't want to be in the center, but perhaps on the side, show this double L gesture. The light will flash green. Move yourself to the new position and show this gesture again to confirm. If you want to switch vertical position, show both thumbs up. To return to horizontal position, point both thumbs either to the right or left. It works both ways. To control the shutter button, show this gesture to start or stop recording or taking a photo. So those were gestures for tracking a person. How do you track any subject? Swipe right to get to AI Tracker Preview. There is a little camera on the tracker. It doesn't record, it's only for showing the tracking preview. There are 4 ways to enable tracking. Double tap the subject to start tracking, or drag to select the subject. Another way is to single press the side button on the remote, or just press the trigger button one time. The box will be green. You just have to choose what is the best option for you. If you want to reposition the subject, you can do that with the joystick. Just move it around to get the framing you want. To turn off tracking, simply tap again the side button or press the trigger one time. The box will be yellow. I'm going to cover all the buttons on the remote and on the gimbal. Just to give you a heads up, there are many functions assigned to those buttons, so don't get overwhelmed. You're not going to remember them all. Are you ready to go? Let's start. First of all, let's go to Hohem Joy App, as some of the button functions only work there. Joystick is first. Besides moving camera around and repositioning tracking, when you press and hold the joystick, you will turn on the light on the AI tracker. You will turn it off the same way. Shutter button is next. Press one time to start or stop recording or take photo. Bluetooth must be enabled. The next 2 features are only available in Hohem Joy App. If you double press, it will switch between photo and video mode. If you triple press, you will switch between rear and front camera. If you long press the shutter button, you will turn off or turn on the remote. You don't need to do that if you have the remote inserted in the gimbal, as it automatically shuts off when you turn off the gimbal. Let's take a look at the side button. Earlier I was showing that if you press one time, you can enable or disable subject tracking. If you double press, you will recenter the gimbal. If you triple press, the camera will spin around so you can film yourself with rear cameras. Triple press again to get it back. In the event that there are problems with the controller, to repair it, press 5 times. To clear controller connection, press 7 times. If you want to calibrate the AI tracker live feed, long press the button. To exit, long press again. So these were the buttons on the remote. I'm gonna insert it back now and explain the rest of the buttons on the gimbal. Power button goes first. Long press to turn on or turn off the gimbal. If you double press, you will enter standby mode. To exit, double press again. To calibrate the gimbal, press the power button 5 times. When it comes to trigger at the back, I already showed that when you press one time, you will enable or disable tracking with AI tracker. If you double press, you will recenter the gimbal. If you triple press, you will spin the camera around for filming with rear cameras. Triple press again to get it back. There are 2 more functions there, but I will explain them once we move on to gimbal filming modes. This side wheel on the left controls the light. When you long press the side wheel, you will turn on and off the light. When you double press, you will switch between 3 color temperatures: cool, warm, and neutral. To make the light stronger, scroll up. To make the light dimmer, scroll down. Let's long press to turn off the light. If the remote is not working, you can repair it with the side wheel. Simply press 5 times. Then press 5 times again to pair the controller with the gimbal. To clear Bluetooth or controller connection, press 7 times. Those were all buttons. Let's continue with the touchscreen. The first icon we already covered, and that is switching between vertical and horizontal filming mode. The bottom left icon will take you to gimbal modes. When you turn on the gimbal, it will be in pan follow mode by default. Pan follow means that you can only move to the sides. The tilt will be locked. Let's tap on the PF icon to get to more filming modes. PTF stands for Pan and Tilt Follow mode. The phone will move left, right, and also up and down. POV or point of view mode is next. All motors are unlocked, so the phone will move to the sides, up and down, and you can also do roll movement. The last mode on the screen is lock mode. All motors are locked. You will always maintain the same view. Let me return for a second to the trigger in the back. If you are filming in any other mode, you can enable lock mode by pressing and holding the trigger. Once you release the trigger, it will take you back to the previous mode you were using. If you press again and hold, you will enter sports mode, and you can film fast-moving subjects such as cars. Some of you might be very confused right now when to use each mode. I do have a tutorial on that with a lot of examples, so I'm gonna link it below for those interested. Let's return to the touch screen just to quickly summarize what was explained until now. If you swipe right, you will get to the AI tracker preview. If you swipe left, you will get to the main page. And so far, we have covered orientation and gimbal modes. Right at the top, you have status bar, where you can see what is happening with your gimbal and phone. Gimbal battery level, gimbal working mode, AI tracking status, Bluetooth connection, remote connection, and remote battery level. What we didn't cover on this page are the plus and minus icons. If you long press the plus, you will zoom in. And naturally, if you long press the minus icon, you will zoom out. This only works in Hohem Joy app if you have an iPhone. If you have Android, some phones might support this in native camera app. Let's swipe left to get to the third page. The first icon will take you to the joystick settings. Here you can adjust the speed and direction of tilt and pan. Light controls are below. You can turn on the light, select one of the 3 color temperatures, and adjust brightness. Let's go to scenario. Here you can enable automatic pan rotation. You can select if you want just one-time counterclockwise or clockwise rotation, or continuous rotation to either side. And you can adjust the speed as well. Roll rotation is next. Here we can perform a 180-degree roll rotation to either side and adjust the speed. Let's go back and hit panorama. Here you can take 3x3, 180 degrees, 360, and 720 VR panoramas. All you do is just tap on one of the choices, and it will do that automatically for you. The last icon takes you to motion time lapses. All you do is move the gimbal to a starting position, hit the plus sign, then go to the next position, hit the plus sign again. You can select up to 6 positions. If you need to erase a position, hit minus. The last thing you need to do is select a duration anywhere between 1 minute and 180 minutes and then hit start. Let's go back to the third page and select more settings. You've got language selection here, a tutorial that takes you to QR code that you can scan to get there. Under AI settings, you can disable tilt tracking if you only want tracking to the sides. You can also disable gesture control in case you are filming a child, for example, and the little one is just waving the hands and accidentally disabling the tracking. Motor strength settings are here as well. Follow speed lets you select between slow, medium, and fast. Default orientation is set to portrait. If you always want the gimbal to start in landscape mode instead, you can change it here. Gimbal sound is on by default. If you don't want any beeps, you can turn it off. This is very handy for filming events such as weddings. Screen brightness can be adjusted next. Level calibration settings lets you perform automatic calibration or manual. You can adjust the motors individually. Device info is next, and finally firmware version. Once you remove the remote, you will notice these 3 lights on this gimbal that will let you know what is going on. The first blue light on the left indicates Bluetooth connection. Solid light means Bluetooth is connected. If it flashes 3 times, it means Bluetooth pairing cleared. This happens during turning on and off the remote. Slow flash means gimbal firmware is updated, and when it is off, the Bluetooth is disconnected. The battery light is in the middle. Green means that there is more than 50%. Yellow is 25 to 50%. Red is low battery. And once it starts flashing red, that means it's going to shut down soon. The third light is for the remote. When the remote is connected, you will see a solid green light. When you turn it on or off, it will flash quickly 3 times. If the light slowly flashes red and green, that means that the remote is repairing. Gray means that the remote has been disconnected. If you see a slow red flashing light, it means the gimbal is overloading, and that's not good. If you see a solid red light, it will alert you to a gimbal's firmware anomaly. And lastly, when the gimbal is on standby, the light will be pulsing with a yellow color. And that will be everything when it comes to gimbal's hardware. Let's go to Hohem Joy App so I can explain you all the important features and settings. I'm using iPhone. If you have Android phone, some features might not be available to you depending on what Android phone you have. So please keep that in mind. Once you open Hohem Joy App, you will be greeted by this page. Here you have access to additional tutorials. In the center is the camera. We will get there shortly. The next icon takes you to editor with pre-designed story templates you can download. Here you can use your own clips and let the app automatically edit the video for you. Me is your account. Alright, let's hit the camera button to get to the filming interface. Let's change the orientation to landscape. Let's start with the left side. The home icon will take you to the previous page, which we just left. The outer icon takes you to filming in automatic or manual mode. Let's tap the next icon, which is video resolution and frame rate. The highest resolution offered is 4K and 60 frames per second frame rate. Flash icon is next. The last icon at the bottom takes you to settings. Once you hit that, the first page you are going to see is the camera parameter settings. Here you can change the aspect ratio. Mirror selfie is next. What it means is that once the video is recorded, the software will mirror the footage. This is useful if you are mixing selfie and rear camera footage. Grid lines are next. You can enable a grayscale histogram that will show up here at the bottom. The next icon lets you change white balance. If you are using Bluetooth microphone, you can enable it here. Next are zoom speed adjustments. Seamless zoom is enabled by default, and I would keep it that way. If you turn it off, you will see a massive jump when it changes cameras. If you would like to hear a beep when you start and stop recording, you can enable it here. Quick preview is next. If you enable this feature, once you record a clip, it will automatically play, so you can decide if you want to keep it or need to reshoot. If you need original photos when you take panorama photos, you can enable it here as well. Let's go to another page that will take you to gimbal parameter settings. The first option takes you to gimbal working modes. What I want to point out here is keep this mode on next startup. It's on by default. If you prefer any other mode rather than follow mode, you can change it here. Follow speed is next. Here you can select if you want to film with slow follow speed. That is suitable for capturing slow moving shots. Medium follow speed. That is great for filming walking people or animals. or fast, which is best for dynamic, fast-paced motion. Motor speed is set to medium by default. Other choices are low and high. Tilt tracking is on by default. You can disable it here if you want to. Startup orientation is next. This is another way of selecting if you want the gimbal to start in vertical mode or horizontal. Inception speed setting is next. Invert left to right joystick option is here as well in case you don't like the default setting. You can also adjust joystick speed, invert up or down joystick and its speed. Tilt roll and pen adjustments are next. Alert sound is on by default. If you don't want any sounds, you can turn it off here. Auto calibration is below. Restore factory settings. Let's close settings and let me show you tracking in Hohem Joy app. If you don't want to use the AI sensor or don't have the AI sensor with you, you can enable tracking within the app by simply dragging around the subject. Once you are done, press X on the box. Let's continue with the icons at the top. The first one will take you to pre-designed stories. These are templates with storyboards that will teach you how to take the shots. This is very helpful for beginners. All you have to do is choose one of the templates depending on the location you are at and hit start. The next icon will switch between zoom and focus. When you see Z, zoom is enabled. Simply use the plus and minus icons on the remote to zoom in or out. If you press the Z icon, you will switch to focus. The same here, just use the plus and minus icons to perform a focus pull. You can also enable filters. Beauty mode is next. Note that it's not available in 4K. You have to lower the resolution to 1080p. All controls are here. The last icon is for gesture control. Once you enable that, you can use these 3 gestures to start, stop recording, start face tracking, and stop face tracking. The last icon enables remote access with another device. Once you hit that, QR code will pop up. All you have to do is scan it with another phone, and that phone can be used as remote. Let's take a look at the right side. At the top, you have icons for Bluetooth status, gimbal mode, gimbal battery status, and phone battery status. Below, you can switch between rear and front cameras. Record button is in the middle, lens selection, and below is access to your gallery. Let's move all the way to the right to the filming modes. Live is first. Once you tap the icon, it will give you live streaming settings. You will place the URL, and there is an option to enable data. Panorama is next. This one is very straightforward. Just choose one of the panoramas on the left. Photo mode is next. Here you can also enable timer. Video mode was explained earlier. Time-lapse mode will let you film fixed or static time lapses, motion time lapses, left to right and right to left time lapses. Time warp mode is next, slow motion, and moment. Moment has many pre-designed features such as raindrop control, facing the sea, travel, lucky dynamic, smart dolly zoom, smart motion, time lapses, panorama video, fantastic rotation, inception, back to past, and night rain. Just select one of them and film. Give it a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll see you in one of those videos next. Ciao, ahoj!